story mother freaking time. Thank you for joining. Okay, so today we will talk about an interesting event that took some time ago. So some time ago, I was shadowing this OBGYN. This is back to the time that I was in high school and I hadn't even started the nursing program. I decided that I wanted my final project to be associated with a gynecological disease, which is a disease that is associated with a woman's reproductive system, or just a woman's body in general. So obviously, in order to do that, I had to shadow a specialist, someone who specializes in the anatomy of a woman. And or her reproductive system. So I started this internship and I was super excited because I don't know if you guys caught my other video, but I was saying I wanted to be an OBGYN before I became a nurse. And I was really into all the diseases that we were treating, the cases that we were seeing, the patients. I was learning a lot, and my preceptor was cool. Well, I say preceptor, but she was my mentor. She wasn't like precepting me because I wasn't being hired. I was just shadowing her. One day, we had this seemingly kind enough woman come in for a well woman checkup. And if you don't know what a well woman checkup is, it's basically you just coming in to assess your organs, your uterus, your boobs, just to make sure that, you know, breast cancer isn't developing, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, making sure that you don't have an STI. We're just taking it's like a physical for a woman, period. The nurse that obviously preps everyone before they come in there, she has the patient go into the room, and everyone that has that well woman checkup, they get a vaginal exam. So they have them sit obviously in the stirrups, their legs sit up, and you know, they're in a position to be examined. Such is the situation.
Never done this before.
The doctor, will call her Dr. Ruby. I don't know, I like Ruby. And I liked this doctor. So Dr. Ruby and I go into the room, she introduces herself, she asks the patient, we'll call the patient Sherry. She asks Sherry,
is there anything that you have that's a concern of yours that you want us to address today before I start the exam? Yada, 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 yada.
And so Sherry says,
yes, my partner is outside in the waiting room and I wanted to know if it was okay for him to come in.
And you know, Dr. Ruby is like,
yes, of course it is. That's very common. It's fine, but it's actually, just so you know, a little bit more common in situations where the patient is expecting. Is there something that you want me to discuss with the two of you present?
And she said,
yes, actually, there is.
Okay, yes. What is it?
And the patient, Sherry, says,
I need you to act as if I'm pregnant.
Did y'all hear me? I'm gonna say it one more time. So Sherry said to Dr. Ruby, Sherry's a patient, Dr. Ruby is my mentor. She says to her, and I'm witnessing this because obviously I'm shadowing Dr. Ruby. And she says to Dr. Ruby,
when my partner gets in here, can you give the impression that I am pregnant? Act as if I am pregnant. That this is a pregnancy checkup. An exam to assess a pregnancy.
So Dr. Ruby says,
are you pregnant?
I don't think so.
Y'all, I'm standing there like, you put, and if so 2 and 2 equals 4, but this, so it not, because if you carry the 1, maybe if we get, no. I found 0 cents, okay? After all of my equations, it equaled nonsense, okay? Back to the matter at hand. Dr. Ruby says,
I legally cannot lie about your body, about my medical exam. The request that you are asking of me is a heavy request, and it's not something that I am comfortable with. If a doctor in the past has done that for you, that's between you and that doctor, but that's not something that I am comfortable with.
Dr. Ruby was handling this like a professional, okay? Like professionals handle these kinds of situations because they don't want to lose their ability to practice, okay? Okay, so then the doctor said,
if you'd like, you can take a pregnancy test. And if you are pregnant, I can have him come in here and say to the two of you, you're expecting, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. Would you like to take a pregnancy test?
I mean, I can, but I really don't think I'm pregnant.
and so Dr. Ruby, like, you know, says,
Why don't you go ahead and do that? So that way we can have everything documented and on the table and clear as day. If you are not pregnant, I'm sorry, I cannot tell your partner that you are.
fast forward, she pees in a cup. We did the drip, drip, drip little test. We wait for 3 minutes. I don't know if it's 3 or 5. I don't even remember how long it was at that time. Negative. Negative, negative, negative. Okay? Negative. 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 Okay? So Dr. Ruby goes back in there. She has a conversation with her. She reiterates to her, I can't do this. Your partner can still come in if you would like, but I'm not telling him that you're pregnant. She said, okay, that's fine. Thank you, Dr. Ruby. So I go out and I call the partner in. We'll call the partner Joseph. Joseph comes in, he sits down, he introduces himself. Dr. Ruby introduces herself. Now we are all in the room. Dr. Ruby says,
I'm just going to perform this vaginal exam. She requested your presence. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
and so Joseph then says,
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this is my first time. But I don't know. I thought she was getting a sonogram done. Like, I thought that this was where we heard the baby's heartbeat and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So Sherry interrupts what Dr. Ruby is about to say, and Sherry says,
Yeah, no, not this appointment. We're not doing that at this appointment.
God bless Dr. Ruby. Dr. Ruby continues her vaginal exam. And so as she's doing her exam, she's getting samples, she's, doing what she's got to do, asking the appropriate questions. Joseph says,
So what should we look for moving forward?
Joseph, just relax. We'll talk about everything when we're all done.
Okay, yeah, sure, fine. I'm sorry. I thought that we were going to talk about everything together. My bad. I didn't realize.
Joseph's response is totally normal. Joseph is doing great for expecting to be a father soon, okay? So we get to the end of everything that we have to do of this appointment, and I just know Dr. Ruby is ripping off these gloves, getting ready to get the furk out of there. Joseph steps out. I follow her follow Dr. Ruby and Joseph. And Sherry is nervous. And Sherry's like,
Joseph, wait. Can I just get my underwear on? Can you give me a minute to get dressed?
Yeah, can I just ask a couple questions? Can I just get a second?
So she gets up. She rushes out. No underwear on. Dr. Ruby is like,
This is very inappropriate. I cannot have you out here undressed. You need to go back in the room. We can all go back in the room.
So we go into the room. Joseph says,
What has gotten into you?
to Sherry. Sherry says,
Joseph, we will talk about this later.
she looks at Dr. Ruby. And he finally says,
Dr. Ruby, is she miscarrying? Are we losing the baby? I need you to answer me honestly.
Dr. Ruby says,
Joseph, I'm sorry. Sherry is not pregnant.
period. Joseph gets white as snow, confused as all get out. Dr. Ruby walks out. Sherry, I'm following Dr. Ruby out, but I hear Sherry start hysterics. And I just know that there's gonna be a performance in that room. Fast forward maybe 2 to 3 minutes, they're prepping another patient. Joseph storms out. Ruby, in hysterics once more, is gathering all of her things and storming out after him. Why did you think that the doctor was going to lie to your partner? Tell me why. Why you do that? Why did you try to bring the doctor into this lie? Why you try to get us involved? Come on. Nobody was trying to blow your cover, but when you ask somebody to lie with you and they don't want to, things were really awkward. Anyways, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says once upon a time crossed out and then sometime ago. So you'll see some better images on my website and on TikTok. Thank you for joining.
Bite your tongue!
This is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm doing this. Don't